nakasulat dito, good news. Non-ESC students from grades 8 to 10 can now apply for ESC subsidy. So 8 to 10 are existing students, tama?
Year, nakalimutan ko lang, that's 2 school years po na pwede po silang gamitin po nila yung hindi nila nagamit na mga slots before, gamitin po sa 8 to
Yeah,
10.
but these are existing students already. Nakapasok na sila eh. They're non-ESC. They're existing students already. They're currently students.
Yes.
And they can apply for subsidy.
Yes,
correct?
that's right.
So in other words, nakapasok na sila sa Sen.Tulfo sa school.
Mm-mm.
Diba? In a private school. And they can apply for a subsidy. So obviously, I mean, common sense, if they're in the private school, hindi sila in the poor category kasi they can pay the tuition fee.
Pag hindi lang kayong top up, hindi na po sila mag-aaral din sa amin. Mr. Chair, I do agree 100%. Sinasabi ni Father, kailan siguro madagdagan pa yung budget. Totally agree ako dyan. Pero, kailangan in the name of transparency, dumaan sa COA.
Yes, yes.
School year, nakalimutan ko lang, that's 2 school years po na pwede po silang gamitin po nila yung hindi nila nagamit na mga slots before, gamitin po sa 8 to
Yeah,
10.
but these are existing students already. Nakapasok na sila eh. They're non-ESC. They're existing students already. They're currently students.
Yes.
And they can apply for subsidy.
Yes,
correct?
that's right.
So in other words, nakapasok na sila sa Sen.Tulfo sa school.
Mm-mm.
Diba? In a private school. And they can apply for a subsidy. So obviously, I mean, common sense, if they're in the private school, hindi sila in the poor category kasi they can pay the tuition fee. But and yet they can still apply for additional 9, tawag nga nila 9,000 tuition discount. Discount, not subsidy. Discount.
Mr. Chair, yan sinasabi ko kanina.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sige,
go ahead.
yan exactly sinasabi ko na nasa private school na sila and yet sila ay nabibigyan pa rin ng subsidy from the government when they don't obviously belong to what we call poor of the poor. Dapat nga talagang priority natin para sa mga mahirap tulad sinabi nyo kanina. So maganda po yung question nyo, Mr. Chair. Yun yung sinasabi ko rin kanina. Go ahead, Attorney Rama.
Thank you. Yes,
Senwin and Senator Tulfo, no, while we understand really, no, that we should be supporting the poorest of the poor, no, because that really is supposedly what should be prioritized, and this is in the law itself, no. But over time, what we have seen is that the amount of the subsidy at 9,000, 11,000, 13,000 is very small compared to the average tuition fee in the schools, no, private schools where they will transfer. Therefore, there actually is a top up that the parents will have to pay. That's why earlier when we were saying, bakit may cost efficiency ito? Even if the, based on GAA cost of a student estimated by ADB was like 21,000, kasi nagdadagdag ang mga magulang dun sa 18,000 na voucher at yung 13,000 na ESC. In other words, as early as I think 2016, no, we were already discussing with DepEd, can we do a study of fully rationalizing the amount of the ESC so that we can really ensure that the poorest of the poor can be, can actually transfer to a private school. Obviously, 13,000 in NCR will not be enough. Now, why is it that meron din ganong decision-making ang mga schools? Because they are penalized if they do not have a completion rate of at least 90%. Kasi ang programa, kapag nandyan ka ng 7, tuloy-tuloy yan hanggang 10. At kapag mahirap ka at wala kang ibang support, tulad ng pamasahe, tulad ng pambili ng libro, baka hindi ka rin makatapos ng grade 10. Then your program becomes a failure all over again. Now,
So yung pinopoint kasi ni Senator Win, ma'am, and tulad ng sinabi ko na kanina, Ms. Ferrer, nasa private school na sila. So the fact na nasa private school na sila, in-enroll sila na kanilang mga magulang sa private school, ibig sabihin ito mga estudyante, magulang ng mga estudyante ito, can afford na sila. They don't obviously belong to what we call the poor of the poor. So therefore, bakit pa natin sila bibigyan ng grant? Sana mag-concentrate tayo, tulad sinabi ko early on, doon na lang talaga sa mga public schools. Na alam naman natin, karamihan dyan, talaga mahirap. Sila na yung dapat qualified na ma-transfer sa private school to this grant. Kasi kasama nga dyan yung proof of income of parents guardian, kasama dito sa evaluation ninyo. So, ang nangyari, base sa, pumunta lang kasi ako sa labas, pagpasok ko, nakita ko na, at nasabi naman kanina, earlier, so, yung mga estudyante na nasa private schools na pinag-a-apply, at some of them, or all of them, ay nabibigyan ng grant to move up. Yun yun. So, ang point ko rito, from early on, pag nasa private school na sana, baka wag na muna, doon na muna sa public ng mga estudyante. Kasi most of these students comes from the what we call poorest of the poor family.
Sen.Tulfo, kasama po yan sa magiging rationalizing natin.
Okay.
Kasi right now, hindi nga talaga maka-attract ang isang private school ng isang bata from public kung ibibigay niya 13,000 at ang amount ng tuition and other fees niya 40,000. Yan ang NCR average. Kaya,
Oh, ma'am, ang sinasabi kasi, kung tama pagkaintindi ko, pagdating ko rito, lumabas lang kasi ako, na nasa private school na yung mga bata from grade 1,
Apo.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pagdating ng 10 to 11,
Ma'am.
sila ay kina-qualify, ginagawang qualified para makareceive ng grant under the ESC program. Tama? Senator Win, na kung akong tatanungin at si Senator Win, wag na sana. Kasi from the very beginning, sila ay nasa private school na afford nila na igapang yung kanilang mga anak from grade 1 up to grade kung ano man yun sa junior high. So dapat mag-concentrate na lang tayo doon sa mga mahirap na coming from the public school. Na alam na natin from the start, sila nagpa-enroll doon ng mga anak nila sa public schools because hindi sila ganun ka can afford.
Senator Tulfo, naiintindihan ko po ng pinanggagalingan nyo, no? Pero hindi naman exactly kasi consistent ang congestion problem natin dun sa consideration natin in terms of equity. Kasi kung hindi natin sila tatanggapin, yung 65% as of this current school year na galing public, congested na naman ang public kung hindi sila kukuhanin ng private.
No, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, sorry. Mr. Chair, sorry po. Hindi po eh. Di ba ang purpose nitong program na pinag-usapan natin ngayon is to decongest public schools.
Yes.
So therefore, dapat nakatuon tayo sa public schools para ma-decongest sila, ma-transfer to private.
Opo.
Ang nangyari, base sa narinig ko ngayon, galing na sila sa private,
Opo.
iaangat sila ng level sa same school, and yet they receive that
Oo.
grant na supposed to be para sa mga poor, rest of the poor.
Yes, Sen.Tulfo, kasi po hindi mabubuo ng eskwelahan yung slots niya kung hindi siya kukuha sa sariling niyang estudyante na based on income documents nangangailangan din. So siguro ang isang pwede kong sabihin, income documents, nagsasubmit po kasi ang mga bata
Ano po yung mga income
ng
documents?
income documents,
Ano po yung mga income documents sinasabi?
ITR, and then
Right.
sinasabi
So yung mga
nila sa
magulang
school
po sa
selection.
public schools, wala rin ba may sasabit?
Nagbibigay po sila sa school selection committees nila
Okay.
at the school level. Yun nga lang, hindi ho ganun kadaming public ang talagang willing lumipat kasi maliit lang yung subsidy. Yung eskwelahan ho, meron siyang fixed slot allocation na kapag hindi niya ho ginamit, mawawala sa kanya in the next year, and it will mean the utilization of GASPE may even go down. Ito hong nangyari dito sa pandemic. Talagang nawalan ho ng estudyante
In
ang
that case, ma'am,
private.
kung sabi mo hindi enough, then make it enough for the
Correct.
student from the public school na yung subsidy nila enough na para
Tama
carry
po.
over up to the next level kung anumang grade sila umangat ng umangat.
Tama po,
Kasi kung
dapat
sabi niyo
taasan
kulang,
po.
kaya kayo pupunta sa private, mukhang
Kaya nga po,
problema.
taasan po natin yung amount ng ESC
You
para
agree?
kung lumipat ang mga public school students at maka-complete sila until grade 10.
Correct.
Kasi
Kasi
kung
ma'am,
hindi, failed na naman.
kasi it defeats the purpose of us decongesting public schools para malipat sa private, kayo nagbibigay ng grants sa mga nasa private school na. Di ba?
I understand, ED Doris, with the permission of Senator I understand, Doris, where you're coming from kasi may fixed slot na eh. Diba? And kailangan nila ibenta yung fixed slot na yon. No? Not ibenta, but kailangan nila mag-attract. No? And the way to attract, kailangan nila ibenta. Correct? That's why nga mayroong discount in the offer. Which I find it really inappropriate because that money should be for the poor. It should not be given as a discount to the rich. Do you know where you're coming from? No, but nakita ko yung ano, but that's not a reason to tilt the objective of the law to address the poor first. Parang ang nangyari, hindi natin magastos yung pera, bigyan na lang natin sa mayayaman. Ganun nangyari. Hindi natin magastos, hindi natin mapuno yung slot, bigyan mo lang sa mayayaman as a discount. No? Which I think is morally incorrect. Not only morally incorrect, it's also against the law because the law is very clear. Their preference to be given to those earning 72,000 annually. And for me, as a taxpayer, lahat naman tayo taxpayer, no, I would rather put my hard-earned taxes to prioritize the poor, because that's what's, as public servants, we have to practice equity. We have to practice equity.
Kasi parang lumalabas dito, Mr. Chair, parang pinipilit nila magastos, maubos yung pondo kasi meron tinatawag na quota. E di, kung ganun pala yung ano natin para ubusan na ng pondo, lumilitaw na parang nagwawaldas tayo. Kasi going back again to the purpose of the program is para supportahan yung mga mahirap natin mga kababayan, mga pamilya ng mga mahirap na estudyante.
Last na lang po, sana rin maging objective ng programa na actually hindi siya nakasulat kasi nauna to, no? ESC really service contracting congestion is support for private. Kasi sa private schools ho, yung misconception na lahat ng nandyan mayaman, hindi ho totoo yan. At ang pangalawa ho, yung mga estudyante na nasa private, pag hindi mo binigyan ng ESC, pwedeng umalis yan sa private pagdating ng junior high kasi nahihirapan din ho sila. So those are the things that we will have to my mind, rationalize.
Ako personally, Senator Tulfo, this is my position. It's irrelevant where the student is coming from, whether public or private. For me, that's irrelevant. Importante poor siya. And importante supported siya by documents. That's what's important for me. But even COA, in the COA report nakasulat dito, there's no policy. There's no policy to address the poor. Well, it's here in the COA report. Tama ba, Mr. Leliabe?
Yes po.
But there's no policy to address the poor. So that's what's missing. No? That's what's missing. So irrelevant sa akin if it's existing student siya from the private, that's fine. As long as you demonstrate that student is poor. But kasi common sense sa atin, it's common trend that if you're from the public school, poor ka. Most likely poor ka. Most likely. Hindi naman lahat, no? Most likely. No? So that is the benchmark that we are using. No? So Father Delvo, and then we go to Attorney Tara. And then...
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Senator Rafi. I would like to humbly reiterate, not all schools belonging to Kukupayan Sayap are wealthy, ano, at saka mahirap din po ito, mga parochial schools po ito, mga mission schools. And then we also have scholars who are getting scholarship full-time and partial. So ganun din po. And then I agree with both of you that we have to be stricter with regard to determining whether or not our students in private education really deserve and qualified. I'm for that also. Kaya lang, I would like to reiterate po, we are not all Ateneo, Lasal, Xavier, mga parochial schools po ito, mission schools, sa rural areas pa. Yun po ang ikukonsider. Thank you. And if I may allowed to add, to lessen the congestion in public schools, I think I suggest we increase the assistance from government so that they can transfer to the private education. Kasi may tatap up po kami ng konti. Our electricity, air conditioning, ibang mga kwarto, then the amenities inside the classrooms are better than some of the public schools. So we require some top up. Pag hindi lang kayong top up, hindi na po sila mag-aaral din sa amin.
Mr. Chair, I do agree 100% sa sabi ni Father. Kailan siguro madagdagan pa yung budget. Totally agree ako dyan. Pero kailangan in the name of transparency, dumaan sa COA.
Yes, yes.
You agree, Father?
Yes po, 100% po.
Thank you, Father.
Attorney Tara, you're great.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and Senator Rafi. I would just like to clarify po, no, yung nakita po natin na advertisement ng school. This is in relation to the DepEd Order number 12, 2023 that we issued. This is regarding po yung mga approving or allowing the ESC participating schools to bill grades 8 to 10. So ang sabi po natin doon kanina is that they are already existing. However, I would like to just manifest in this committee, Mr. Chair, that we do have a criteria for accepting doon sa mga grades 8 to 10. So here po in the DepEd order, we said an ESC participating school shall be allowed to have new ESC grantees in the higher grade levels, which is grade 8 to 10, for school year 2022 and 2023 and 2023 to 2024, provided the school has available grade 7 slots. Ito po yung slots na hindi nga po nagamit, Mr. Chair, because hindi po naglipatan po yung mga private school students to public schools actually during the pandemic. So this is our help din po to the learners. Even they were in private schools before, they were heavily affected by the pandemic. So, hindi po natin masasabi na yung pong mga middle class po or hindi naman po mayayaman ay naapektuhan din po during the pandemic. So, Here po, in the selection of grantees for the grades 8 to 10, the following prioritization shall be observed. Number 1 is transfer in students from public high schools. So, yung galing po sa public na kasi mga po private tapos nag-public po sila. So, we allow them to be grantees, non-ESE students in the same ESE participating school whose family were significantly affected by the pandemic. So yun po yung na-mention din po ni Father and ni ED Doris that hindi po lahat ng private schools po ay mayayaman po yung mga estudyante. Actually, again, there are a lot of small schools po na parochial schools outside of the city who are also participating in our grantees po. So that's to clear lang po yung naging discussion kanina, no, why we allow the grades 8 to 10, and there is in fact a prioritization based on the department order po that we issued.
Currently, is there a strict mandate to prioritize the poor?
I would like to state Senator Win that as to the ESC guidelines, the very latest, no, there is none. That's in 2017 it was issued. That's why nga po in this administration where the GASO is also newly created, we are working on revising
So
this po.
right now, there's none. Currently,
In
there's
the ESC po,
none. And
none po.
that's consistent with the findings of COA.
Yes.
Correct. That's
Correct.
why nga we invited COA to shed light on this issue.
Mm-mm.
So our recommendation, I think this is also the recommendation of Senator Tulfo, is to prioritize the poor. That's it. Let's prioritize the poor.
Yes. Although there is sorry po, Senator Win, although in the ESE guidelines, there is that, the prioritization of public school grade 6 completers. But specific to the poor and the income of the family, there is none po.
I think we should be more granular because kung sinasabi nyo, there are also poor students in private schools. Maybe in public schools, there are also non-poor students. So let's be as specific as possible.
We will place that in the guidelines po.
Let's be, but the bottom line here is let's stay consistent with the spirit of the law, and also as public servants who practice equity in our country. Let's prioritize the poor. And it for me nga, it's irrelevant where they coming from. It's important that we prioritize them because that is we allocate billions of pesos to this program, but 8 billion goes to non-poor. And consistent, it's in COA's report, it's 14 billion ang kanilang report. In our own calculation is 8 billion. So we want to see a revision in your policy and clearly stating that the poor should be prioritized.
Most definitely, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair. Okay, I do agree na merong mga estudyante like what Father said sa mga private schools, yung mga parochial schools na anak ng mga mahirap. On the other hand, meron din ilan dyan sa public schools na hindi naman talaga sila anak na mahirap, kundi may sinabi rin naman. They just prefer public schools. That's why pagdating sa mga ESC programs, mga grants na binibigyan natin, dapat may nakaset na amount na kung saan masasabing qualified yung isang estudyante. Diba yung nabanggit ka na sa isang batas na dapat 6,000 ang income and below. So dapat meron tayong nakaset na amount for you to be qualified under that program for that grant coming from the ESC at kung ano pang ibang programa ng gobyerno. Sa ngayon, wala ata. Tanggap lang kayo ng tanggap. Paano bang screening ginagawa nyo bago ma-qualify isang estudyante? Tinitingnan nyo ba yung ITR ng magulang ng estudyante? Do you do that?
Yes po. Currently, meron naman po tayo, specifically the senior high school voucher. They submit talaga po yung income na ano po nila so that we will be able to determine if they really need the voucher po, Mr. Senator.
Okay. So in that case, kung nagsasabit kayo ng ITR para sa qualification ng estudyante para makatanggap ng voucher, so dapat maging stricto tayo. Yun din sinasabi ko ni Senator Win para masiguro at masabi sa kanila lahat na ito ay pang mahirap lang at priority kay mga mahirap. Kasi naman, kung halimbawa, kumikita ng 20,000 ang household, isang household, o 50,000, and then nabibigyan pa rin ng grant, hindi na tama yun. Mali na yun, yung direksyon na yun.